Roy Yamaguchi is a world-renowned celebrity chef, restaurateur, cookbook author, and television personality.
Don't have to be too formal.
He is the owner and founder of 31 Roy's restaurants, including 29 in the United States, 1 in Guam, and 1 in Tokyo, Japan. Yamaguchi received his formal training in culinary arts education from the prestigious Culinary Institute of America in New York. He was the very first chef honored from Hawaii with the prestigious James Beard Best Pacific Northwest Chef Award. Chef Roy is this year's chairman for the Hawaii Food and Wine Festival being held next month, and we are very honored to have him spend some time with you here today. Please join me in welcoming Chef Roy Yamaguchi.
Thank you. Chef Ellen Wong and I are co-chairs of the Hawaii Food and Wine Festival happening September 6th through 9th. So this is a great festival to really showcase Hawaii's agriculture, what we have here, the bounty of just great ingredients that we chefs have to work with. So to showcase to the world all the chefs that are coming in from internationally, from Korea, Singapore, Australia, Japan, to really show them also what Hawaii has to offer as far as, you know, all the bounty of great ingredients we have here, along with the chefs from the mainland. So we're going to have about 60 chefs coming to our event over a 4-day period, mainly at nights, but we also have daytime events over at the Hilton, nighttime events at the Hilton, Kolina Resorts, Halekulani, and then the Modern Hotel. So with all these great chefs coming in, we want to make sure we welcome them with a lot of great ingredients that we have here in Hawaii. So if you folks have a chance to come visit us during those 4 days, I mean, we have some great events planned. So we have Charmaine and we have my wife Denise out here who runs the festival. So show them your love and show them, you know, give them a couple $100 for tickets. You know what I mean? Come on, just lighten up a little bit. You guys are all just really like, what's the matter? You had a bad day today? Or, you got up late, or you're hungry? Okay. So anyways, if you buy their tickets today, you don't have to go online and pay the extra cost. So just keep that in consideration, and by all means, do not miss the festival, because we're going to have over 60 great chefs from all over the world and the mainland U.S., so keep that in mind. Okay, what do we want to do today? Does anybody have anything? You want to learn today? While I'm doing my demo? You want to learn? You want to taste? What's the most important thing in a demo? Learn. What is the most important thing in a demo? Learn what? To learn something different. Okay. When you come to a demo given by me, you're not going to learn anything. Okay? What you're going to see is me fast in action, like Chef Morimoto, how he cuts his fish, like Chef Nobu Matsuyama, how he cuts his slices of fish. Okay, so you got to be fast, because if you blink your eye, you're going to miss my entire demo. Okay, so the most important thing for me to show you as I do my demo is just the philosophy is the most important. It's not really the ingredients, because it has to come from the heart. You can take the same recipe that I have and you can do it yourself. And I can guarantee you you can measure it down to the T and it'll be different, okay? Why? Because you have to understand, that's why you have to see, and you have to see the environment, because depending on if your saute pan is large or small, depending on how high the heat is, depending on how much vapor is released while you're cooking, depending on all of these different elements that make cooking what it is, you're going to miss out. Okay, so don't concentrate on the recipe, because the recipe is not going to get you anywhere. What you have to learn is the process. That's why people go to cooking school. That's why I spend a lot of time, you know, at a cooking school learning, and this is why I spend a lot of time with students, is to not give them recipes, because it doesn't mean anything. You have to learn the fundamentals, and you have to learn the techniques, you have to learn the reasons why you do things. Not a teaspoon or a tablespoon. Okay. You guys got that? Yeah, I say that up front because all my recipes do not work. Okay, see, now you guys, you know, I mean, little giggle is not going to get you guys anywhere. It has to be a big, loud laugh. Okay, make sure. If I tell a joke, make sure you guys laugh. Don't just giggle. Giggle is not good. The more you guys laugh between now and the next 15 minutes, it's going to depend on the portion size of what you get. Because if you just giggle, you're going to get a small portion. If you laugh a lot and smile like and you act like you really like me, you're going to get a bigger portion. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is actually, because it's going to skip the recipe you have in your hand, so you know, just kind of look at it. But one of the first things I'm going to do is make a sushi soup. So everybody know what a sushi, and please, you're more than welcome to what do you call it? More than welcome to ask questions. Okay, that's some rice wine vinegar.
Anyone
Sugar.
that has a question for Chef, please go ahead and raise your hand. We do have a microphone that we can pass to you.
So, you know, you can do it two ways. You know, I mean, you can either heat it up or you can just add it in at room temperature. And, you know, if you're not going to use it today, meaning that if you want to let it sit for a while, you can always add the sugar in and kind of like dissolve at room temperature. It's not going to dissolve 100%, you know, in a short period of time, but over a long period of time, you'll be able to melt the sugar. And then if you kind of, at the end of the day, sometimes the sugar will go to the bottom, and if you kind of go like this, you know, you can incorporate the sugar back in, and hopefully it'll melt, and over a week period, you're going to be able to dissolve the sugar. But in this recipe today, because we're, you know, moving fast and furious, we're going to just heat it up. So again, this whole theory is all about melting the sugar with the vinegar. So again, here's the thing: you have acid, and then you have sweetness, and then what do you want to do? You want to balance those two things together, right? Usually it's 1-to-1, because that's how you can incorporate the balance of flavors. And then to that, you want to add some salt. You want to add some sodium, so you can make that that vinegar tone down, get it up. You can get the sugar to go up, get it down. So salt is a good additive to kind of like incorporate all the flavors together to make it come out. So by adding salt, you're going to add another dimension. So salt, to me, is your personal preference. I'm more of a person that likes a lot of sodium in my food, so I may add a little salt, extra salt, and take a little extra blood pressure pill at the end of the day. Tough crowd here. Tough crowd. Whenever I make something, I'm always tasting, because to me it's extremely important that you taste the food. And now, can you see that over here or no?
Yes.
Do I have to put that pot over here in order for you to see it?
No.
Tell me.
No.
Oh, really?
It's just a pot, yeah.
You can see you can see inside the pot?
No, not inside.
Oh, that's what I'm asking you. You can see inside the pot. The exterior of the pot is very nice, as you can see. This was my line of cookware, but unfortunately Macy's didn't carry it, so I had to discontinue my line. So if you guys can tell, guys from Macy, who's the home buyer from Macy's? I'm sure I think she ran away. I see her running away over there after I told her that. Anyway, so we can you see this now? No?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
How's that? Sugar, salt, and we have the rice wine vinegar. To this, we add some cherry blossoms. What we do is make the sushi rice. The best way is to make it. The rice has to be hot out of the rice cooker. So that's why even like this, you know, when you give recipes, you have to make sure you know the entire story. So when the rice is made, you can't wait 2 hours to make the sushi rice. It has to come right out of the rice cooker, nice and hot. And at that time, what you want to do is add the sushi soup. And then when you add the sushi soup, what's going to happen is that, and you know, the real way to do it is actually go like this. And then once it's in there, what you want to do is you want to just incorporate all the sushi soup right into the rice itself. Okay, because once the rice gets too cold, what happens is it's not going to absorb the the liquid fast enough, because when something is hot, it absorbs. Just like when you marinate something, a lot of times the great thing to do is I actually sear something, not all the way, but to maybe a rare or medium rare. And then what I'll do is I'll add the marinade, because when something is hot, it just absorbs. So it absorbs the marinade. So when the sushi rice is hot, it absorbs all the marinade. And this cherry blossom has been salted, and because from Japan, what they do is, during cherry blossom season, they get all the cherry blossoms, and they actually salt it, pack it in salt, and then what we do is we rinse the salt out, and then we mix it with the rice. Okay, so anyways, once it's cooled, what's going to happen is that you're going to have rice that looks like what? We have a sample rice?
Yes, we do.
I'll show you a sample rice.
I have a question.
Yes, I like that.
How important is it to do it in the wooden bowl?
It's always, because what happens is, in a stainless steel bowl, it'll stay hot. The rice stays hot, and it takes a long time for the rice to cool down. But a wooden bowl, same thing. All the moisture extracts, goes away, vaporizes, and you're able to cool the rice down a lot faster.
Thank you.
So anyways, then it becomes like this after it's cooled. So then, as you can see, while it's still a little hot and warm, it kind of flakes away. And then when it's hot, when it's cold, it'll kind of like become, what do you call this? Kind of like kind of sticky. Okay, and then what you want is just a nice flavor of that cherry blossom in there. So this rice I did it for the 100th anniversary in Washington D.C. when I went to D.C. for the inaugural party to roll this 100th anniversary. So
It was good.
huh?
It was good.
Yeah, see? I have one fan here saying something nice to me. Everybody else doesn't say anything. They giggle once in a while. That's not good.
Where do you get that cherry blossom?
Cherry blossom trees. Cherry blossoms are usually packed, and it comes in a jar. And you can buy them, and of course, I got mine from Japan, but that's how you get it. And but if you come to Roy's this week, we have it here.
Do you use the leaf or the petal?
The leaf or the
Petal.
well, it's with the petal. It's the flowers. And it's actually the stem. And did we bring the other? No, we didn't. We didn't bring the no. We didn't bring it. But anyways, we brought the chalk one, but we didn't bring the whole one. But it's actually the leaves, the blossoms, and then it's attached to the stem. So it's the blossoms and the stem. Now we have a vinaigrette that goes over this meat. Okay, and the vinaigrette in this meat is it's kind of nampla sauce. Everybody know what nampla is?
No.
The nampla is fish sauce. In just about every what do you call it, country in Asia has it. Whether it's in Vietnam or Philippines or Thailand or wherever. It's what they normally do is they get like a lot of anchovies, fresh anchovies, and line them with salt. And what they do is you let it basically so-called marinate, ferment for months and months and months, and then when you press it, you get the liquid, you get the juice. And then, so depending on how much salt, people use, of course, it gets saltier, and then you add water to it, dilute it and all that stuff, and you end up with something like this. So basically a fish extract. So this is from what? This is, yours is from where?
Asian grocery.
No, it's from Asian grocery, but which country? Vietnam. This is Vietnam. Okay, so anyways, but it's really important that you get the flavors of like fish sauce because it's just more dimensional. And to me, it's all about adding layers of flavor. Okay, it's called layering. When you add layers of flavor to something, it becomes more complex. But yet, you have to be a lot more. You have to know more because then you have to balance the flavors, right? Because the more you add to it, it can get really out of hand. So you add more, but yet you make it more. It gets complex, but you have to bring all the flavors back in. So you have to know how to balance all of these flavors. So that's extremely important. So to this, I put, things like Thai basil, or you can put like mint, green onions, and then sliced shallots. Thinly sliced garlic, And then what happens is, and then you add a little bit of acid, like lemon juice, lime juice. You can add yuzu, you can add orange juice. And then something like this you can't just make it and use it. Why? I'm sorry? Okay, you have to extract all of these flavors from all of these ingredients, to become balanced. So if you let it sit for an hour, let it sit for 3 hours, you can really tell the difference, okay, of the flavor, because now you're extracting the flavors of mint or basil or scallions or garlic or shallots, and you get it all marinated, right? All the flavors come out, and then it's like a great marriage. Okay, now lime juice or lemon juice or yuzu juice that you use is very acidic, right? And then you have something that, like the fish sauce, very, very sodium, so it's salty. So what do you have to do to balance those flavors? Sugar, sweet. Okay, sweet. Okay, you can add granulated sugar, right? But why add granulated sugar? Why?
Has to dissolve?
Huh?
Because it has to dissolve?
Oh, don't ask me why, I'm asking you. Okay, I don't add granulated sugar because I've been told that granulated sugar is what do you call it? Processed. Okay. Now, what I want to try to do is, now it's an Asian thing, and I want to use something that's real, to me, dimensional. Again, layers of flavor. So what do I use? I use palm sugar. Palm sugar. Sweet. You know how you guys ever seen those guys cut the syrup off the palm? In Asia, and they let it drip down. They collect it, they put them in these containers, and then they turn the heat on, and then they cook it. It's become sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. So you have white palm sugar, then you have really like dark palm sugar that's been cooked a lot. It becomes almost like maple syrup, okay? So you cook it down. So something that this sweet has so much layers of flavor in here. It's good stuff. So I'm gonna flavor my what do you call it? Dressing. And the great thing about this is that this dressing can become a marinade. Dressing, marinade, sauce. All three, all four. So again, you let this sit around, and then of course you can flavor it. This is sambal. Okay, instead of just adding chili peppers, you can add sambal. More flavors, a little garlic, chili and garlic. Get it from an Asian store. So again, you can taste it like this. And what's going to happen when you taste it like this? Strong, but what happens? I just told you a little while ago. Did you forget already? It's not quite ready. Not quite ready. The flavors have to come out. You have to be balanced. So then you let it sit for, like this has been sitting for how long? A couple hours. All the flavors come together in marriage. Okay? Very brutal. Brutal. Why is it brutal again? Brutal because it's marriage. Yeah, you got that right. Okay, next. Before I get in trouble. Okay, next. To me, grass-fed beef has a lot of flavor. You can have a combination of grain, and a lot of them have grain, and they feed on grass, and then they add grain at a later time at the very, very end to kind of fatten them up. But basically, the flavor of grass to me is great because it has a very, very it's not mild. It's like when you eat something, you should be able to taste it. Like when you eat local chicken, like you eat the roadkill. It's great because I'm serious because it tastes great. Not that I go out and get roadkill all the time, but I'm just saying it's great because there's a lot of flavor. There's so much flavor to it that it's better than just eating domesticated chicken. So, and the reason why that is that you know why like meat tastes, like some parts of the meat taste better than others?
Like.
Huh?
Like.
No, what happens is in most animals, where they move the most, the muscle that's been used the most tend to have the best flavor. So that's why fillets are some of the the lightest tasting flavor when it comes to meat, and why chuck, shoulder, legs are very, very tasty. It has more flavor, but not as tender, right? Because it's been used a lot, so it gets tougher, but yet because it's been used, so there's more flavor. So you know, it's a trade-off. But you know, we're using filet for you because I felt that you know, everybody here was. And you guys look like a filet person. I had a chance of using filet or chuck. So we start cooking this. Now I can just cook this just like this, right? Boring. Not that it's boring, because you know, sometimes you want to get the essence of the flavor, but since I'm not going to marinate it for a long period of time, you're going to be able to taste the beef. So when you're eating this beef today, you're going to be able to taste it, but you're going to be able to taste something else. So what I do is, as I cook the meat, okay, as I cook the meat, I just added, see that? So as I cook, I'm cooking this meat, I just added some kaffir lime leaf, you know, kaffir lime leaf, I've added some cilantro, some, you know, green onions, lemongrass that's chopped, some ginger that's chopped, especially when you cook meat that's chopped. You don't want to use a saute pan that's too small, especially when you're adding ingredients to it, because you have to let the pan breathe. If you have too much in the pan itself, and this is, see how much room this meat has in this pan? It's like a mansion. Okay, it's like a mansion. That's what you want when you cook meat. You want the temperature to remain the same or higher. If you put a piece of meat in there and vegetables in there, you don't want the pan to start cooling down, because once the pan starts to cool down, you're not going to get the sear. You have a chance of moisture concentrating in that pan. Temperature comes down and you start cooking the meat like if you're braising it, okay? Because it starts to get too much moisture. So you want a pan where all the moisture that is constantly, if there's some moisture coming out of that meat, you want that meat, the moisture to hit the pan and evaporate. You don't want the meat, the juices to start accumulating in the pan, because then the meat will become tougher and tougher, because you're going to start braising it, and you're not gonna, and not really searing it to get that nice char on the outside, and then to at the same time get that meat cooked as fast as possible. Everybody, what's that?
Yeah. What kind of oil do you use?
We used a combination of, well, I used olive oil right there. But you can use sesame oil, or it's up to you, depending on what you want to taste. You can go canola oil, or, you know, if you're washing your, again, calorie intake, you can use canola oil, or you can use rapeseed oil or something. But to me, I try to use an oil that's flavorful. Extra virgin olive oil, grapeseed oil, sesame oil. So usually what I do is, after I finish cooking this, see how that looks? So what happens is, after I cook the meat, I let it sit like this, because what happens is, so you have to always undercook the meat. So if you want your meat to be medium rare, I usually take it out a little bit, you know, more on the rare side, because what happens is, as the meat is sitting on the pan or on a plate, it starts to cook a little bit more. So it continues to cook, and finally should be medium rare. Okay, so depending on how much time you have. So that's like when you make a roast, like roast turkey at home, prime rib. You don't just take it out of the oven and start whacking it. Okay, you gotta let it sit for. In theory, you should actually let it sit as long as you've cooked it. In theory, okay, but you can let it sit for an hour or hour and a half, and just let it bring out the flavor in there. And the last thing I want to do is, we get an egg. And then, you know, I mean, you can cook it at home. I mean, we cooked it at 65 degrees Fahrenheit, Celsius, for about an hour and 10 minutes or so. And the reason why I do it this way is because I don't like poached eggs. I'm not a poached egg fan, because the outside of the egg always, to me, it's, you know, you got to put it, because what happens is, you know, does anybody know how to cook poached egg real fast? Before I start cooking. Poached egg, in order for the albumin which is the protein. And for the protein in the inside and the egg whites, when you want the egg whites to surround the egg yolk, you know, you need some sort of an acid, you know, for the egg white to go like this and to cover up the egg yolk. So when you do that, to me, the egg white gets too much. It becomes dry and it becomes acidic, and you know, to me, it just doesn't taste good. So what we do is we cook it like this for about an hour and 10 minutes or so at 65 degrees. And what we do is we cook the egg whites long enough so that it kind of like congeals, but at the same time the egg yolk still stays kind of like almost raw. And then for this dish, I cooked it a little bit longer because this thing I had to do, that I tried to do. So when I do this, I put a little what do you call it? Olive oil. You can use butter if you like. I use olive oil. And then all I do is I get the egg and put it in this thing. And I'll have Russell cook this. But as he cooks this, it becomes like this. It gives you an idea that it's nice and the egg yolks are kind of still running, but yet it's firm. You know, the egg whites are nice and tight, and it doesn't look like it's all wiggly and wobbly. It has a nice shape to it, nice dimension to it. So, you know, and of course you can cook it as much as you want or cook it as little as you want, so it's up to you. So it kind of looks pretty cool, huh? Okay, so this is why we do the eggs like this. Okay, to put it all together, we have some nice salad greens. Somewhere? Salad greens somewhere? Okay, excellent. Okay, the food's almost coming out. When you have to wait a little bit, it tastes good, tastes better. But the most important thing is to learn what I just did. Okay? Right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Stop. What's the first thing I said?
Process.
Yeah, process. Not about the recipe. And again, whole thing. Try to figure out what you want to do. How you want to plate it. Some nice orange, local oranges. These are all local ingredients we use. You know, it's about buying local. That's the whole thing. Some beets. I got these beets from my friend Dean Okimoto. Okay, so nice. You know, the whole thing, but you make it really nice. Make it really nice. You know, you work at it. You know, you just put all these things in it, make it nice, right? And then you get like what else goes on this plate? Meat. So here, the meat is here.
Do all your restaurants buy local?
Yeah.
Does that change anything?
You know, local. I mean, to me, yeah, of course, is you're buying products that are a lot fresher. So you're gonna get more flavor, concentration of flavor, and of course, it's healthier, more nutritional value. So that's why here, especially here in Hawaii, where we have great farms close by, and my friend Dean, you know, right here, from a Hawaii Kai restaurant, it's 9 miles away. You have great farms like Mau Farms all the way on the west side of the island. So who supplies our Kolina restaurant. So we're able to really capitalize on these great ingredients we can get locally. So, you know, it's a good thing. And what we want to do at the same time, again, as I mentioned before, our whole food festival is all about, you know, making sure that the world knows how great of a product we have here in Hawaii and how these farmers work really hard to ensure us. And, you know, these guys are superstars because without them, we have nothing. And these guys are just great. I don't like to cook the meat and then slice it right away because it starts to drip, okay? All the flavor starts to wash away, so it's not good. But anyway, so getting something like this, getting more of the flavors like that, and then putting Palm Sugar Asian Grocery. It's on Beretania. And sometimes they sell it, you know, I don't know where they sell it. Where else they sell it? Okay, what is my first egg? No bueno? No. Okay, the first egg was no bueno. And then the marinade. You know, some of the stuff that came out from the marinade. So what happens is after you cook your beef, all the flavors of the marinade Comes out. You can rip that. Huh? Nice, huh? So this becomes part of the sauce. And then the same thing, you get the nampla. Same thing, put that over. Make it very, very simple. How's my egg? Okay, the egg, I'm just going to put it on the easy way. Just to, where's my thing? My, what do you call it? The kind. So, this is the way I would, serve it on a big plate, but on a small plate, serve a little bit differently. But on a small plate, I did something differently. What I did was I made a egg pocket. You guys ever seen those hot pockets? I was going through the grocery store one day recently, and I saw the hot pockets, and I said, well, I'm going to make me an egg pocket for this demo. So you guys are going to get an egg pocket on yours. So I'm going to put a little egg on this, caviar, and then you guys have the little chives or anything? So this is it's very simple, made very, very simply, but again, there's a lot of made simple, but it just kind of looks good. Yeah, I'm gonna put a little green onion. Put that on there. Okay, so that's it. I talk too much, so it doesn't look like much on the plate. But again, you saw me work. You saw me working hard, right? Oh, why didn't you tell me that earlier? Okay, right when I made the plate nice, you guys tell me I forgot the rice. Okay, so where's So anyways, put a little water. What I do is kind of just form this little ball. You know what? I'm gonna put one of these guys on there. We have a cilantro somewhere? Nice one. A little nice one. Put a little nice cilantro on there. Little sushi rice, little egg. I'm gonna move that one guy a little forward, a little bit over there somewhere. I'm gonna move this guy right back in. Okay. How's my cilantro? How's my cilantro? Any questions while I'm getting the cilantro? And what we're doing is, yes.
You said not marinating your meat too long. How long? Overnight too long?
Yeah, if you, especially like beef and stuff, beef is a little better, little cilantro like that. Okay, how's that?
Yeah.
Okay, very nice.